I get a lot of inquiries from people asking whether or not Pimpama is a good place to invest. Now, there's one reason why people are asking me this, and it's not because they've come up with Pimpama as an investment location on the back of their own research. They asked me this because they've been recommended Pimpama as a location by a property investment company. They'll use phrases like high growth corridor or talk about the new Coomera Town Centre as a justification for this recommendation. There's no doubt that Pimpama is a favourite of property investment companies at the moment. Well, why is that? The main reason is because there's lots of properties that have been built there at the moment and therefore lots of commissions to be paid out by developers. But does that mean it's a good place to invest? So look, I'm a fan of the wider Gold Coast property market, but for my money, Pimpama is the worst place to invest on the Gold Coast. Why? Well, it comes down to the basics of supply and demand. When people talk about a high growth corridor, they're talking about a high growth in the number of properties that are being built, not a high growth in terms of investment returns. And in the case of Pimpama, 1/3 of the new houses to be built on the Gold Coast are going to be built there. At the same time, Pimpama is a long way from the action on the Gold Coast. It's not close to many job sources and it's not close to the beach. So at the end of the day, it's an area with lots of future supply, but not a great deal of demand. Unfortunately, it's even worse for townhouses. These are being built in large, sprawling complexes, and if you look at the price of established townhouses in Pimpama, it's between $60,000 to $80,000 below what the new properties coming onto the market are. Doesn't sound like a great recipe for capital growth, does it? Already, Pimpama's demand to supply ratio is the lowest on the Gold Coast, and vacancy rates are above 10%. Why is this? It's because most of the people buying in Pimpama are investors, not owner-occupiers. So it makes the suburb susceptible in the event of a downturn, particularly when investors start fleeing from the market. My advice is there's lots of better places on the Gold Coast to buy for the same dollar as Pimpama. So don't get sucked into what the spruikers are telling you. Do your own research and find the best suburb that you can afford on the Gold Coast to invest in. If you need some further advice about where to invest in the Gold Coast, feel free to book in a free consultation with me.